welcome to another episode of Slamdown. Today we're going to be reviewing Impact. Now, I know in my last videos I was a bit critical on Anthem running Impact. I'm still a little bit critical because of the way they keep changing things. You know, they had good stories, now they're saying they're doing less stories, more action. Suddenly it's GFW, now it's not GFW. And I know the situation with Jeff Jarrett, but still, it feels like they don't know what to do. It feels like things are just keep being changed about. The company needs to find a level, stay at that, and then slowly progress with getting better wrestlers, better in ring action, you know, improving slowly, not keep doing a rebranding because it is going to put people off the promotion. That's what I was basically saying in the last video. But even, you know, these set of tapings I think are brilliant. You know, so I can't understand why they're going to more action, less, and because the way it was going, I thought was good, in my opinion. We see Impact opens with the arrival of Johnny Impact and is furious about the attack he received by Eli Drake and Chris Adonis last week. Impact calls Drake out. See, it's confusing. When it says Impact, I'm like, what? But I keep forgetting his name's Johnny Impact. He demands his title shot. He doesn't want to wait till Victory Road. And that's another thing that pisses me off, because it's a thing that Dixie did. They had shows called Victory Road, Genesis, and it's just like, no, please not go back to that. Instead, why don't they just make Victory Road a pay-per-view? Instead of these one night onlys and the the GFW whatever, why don't they just make Victory Road a pay-per-view, Genesis a pay-per-view? I really hope that happens and they stop doing this, you know, suddenly Impact's Victory Road for 1 week. I don't get it. You know, your shows should be building up to your pay-per-view, not a special Victory Road thing. But that's just my opinion. He's interrupted by KM and says Drake is in Mexico, but Impact isn't buying it. He saw Drake's car in the parking lot. KM proposes a match for the #1 contendership. Impact accepted and it's on. Now, very quick match. It was nice to see KM a bit more on the mic. One thing, I know this is going to be a bit off topic. For me, the one thing that Impact is missing is Bram. You know, we have seen signs by fans saying we want Bram, and, you know, they need Bram back. You know, he's a different kettle of fish. He's that aggressive. He's that hardcore. You know, if you look at the AAA team, and is it Pagno? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But, you know, someone like him teaming with Bram, you know, you've got a hardcore tag team there that can really push their levels. That's what I honestly believe. But KM does roll up Impact. Impact gets his feet on the ropes. It's not enough to keep him down. Impact connects with a springboard kick, followed by the high-risk move from the top rope for the win, and retains #1. Backstage, we see AAA's Pagno speaking to a mystery man. After that, we have Tanya versus Ava Story, which, you know, I don't rate Ava Story at the minute. I think she's a bit too green. But needless to say, we got Tanya got the victory. After the match, she said she came to Impact for one reason. She wants the Knockouts title. Then we saw Rosemary come down and saying she deserves a title shot. Brawl breaks out. We see Sienna come down. Then Ali comes down. Terrell comes down. And then Gail Kim joins in. Now, in the past, I've been very critical of the women's division in Impact, and finally we're seeing improvements. We're seeing better women coming to the roster. We're seeing improvements in so many ways in the Knockouts division, and it's good. It's what we've needed. You know, it was the weakest part when Anthem came in, and now they've made it the strongest part. But the sides are even as Gail, Ali, and Rosemary clear the ring. We see OVE visiting a club in Mexico. OVE are LAX special guests in the club. They get VIP treatment. When they run into LAX, things take a turn. OVE implies that LAX are cowards for not giving them a fair shot for the GFW tag team titles at the Crash promotion last week. It was quite, do you know what? I like this. I liked it that we're outside the Impact Zone. We're actually in a real place. And that's what I like. I liked the realism Impact are doing. We see it gets heated in the exchange between LAX and OVE, and another shot. They get another shot at the global title next week. We did see this Global Forged episode 2, where we see Scott D'Amore trying to whittle down these wrestlers for then to pick who will be the next Impact star. Now, I believe they're doing this wrongly. Now, the reason I say this, if you look at the format of British Boot Camp, which was highly successful, I would have liked if they saved this for when they released the network, because they could have done Global Forged and made it a proper series. You know, or they could have called it Global Boot Camp. That's what I'd rather see. You know, I understand they're using Scott D'Amore's training facility, but I think they need to be more open to everybody out there. Do an open audition so anybody from the indies can be an audition to be an Impact. I think that's where they need to go with this, but that's just my opinion on it. We saw Gail Kim, Rosemary and Ali vow that there's more to come. Now, I'm liking the way Rosemary is at the minute. I like it that she is on the good side, but she hasn't lost any of her personality of being the demon assassin, Decay. You know, they haven't lost that with her transferring over to a face character. We saw Pete Williams speaking out on how much it would mean to him to win the X Division Championship from Trevor Lee. Now, I'm a bit surprised that we didn't see Pete Williams actually help Sanjay Dutt on the last match. It's one thing I did point out. So it's going to be interesting. We went to a clip of Grado wrestling, showing that he's making the money and he's making the dollar. We did see Colt Cabana in the background, which was quite interesting to see Colt Cabana in the background. I don't know if it was an accidental shot, but you did see him look at Grado. So I don't know if that's leading to something or if there is an opportunity there. I don't know, but it's just something I caught. We saw Impact Grand Champion EC3 and Eddie Edwards taking on the two guys from AAA, the Pergo and Phantasma. Now, EC3 is a heel and Eddie Edwards is a face, so, you know, to put them together was a bit like, hang on, what? But with the way they're doing this, it's more like Impact versus AAA. I'm kind of digging it in the minute. It was a good match. We did see, I'm trying to think of his name now. Texano comes down, starts attacking and helps AAA get the victory. And then we see James Storm comes down and helps EC3 and Eddie Edwards. People that doesn't know, EC3 and James Storm had a bit of a rivalry. So for them to work together, it's quite surprising. But we see Johnny Impact runs into Pagamo, Phantasma, and Texano Jr. while on the hunt for Eli Drake. They tell him Drake is still in Mexico, but Texaco has another message for Impact and says he doesn't like you and challenges him into a match for the number one contender. So we do see Johnny Impact having two matches of the night, which I was actually quite enjoying. We did see Kong taking on taking on Shearer. We saw Kong runs over Shearer with a big clothesline to take control, and we did see in the end Congo Kong putting Shearer down. Now, I like Congo Kong. I really do. People that don't know, I have had him as a guest on Slamdown. Lovely bloke, very open, you know, talked about working with Laura Van Ness. Very intelligent guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Kong, because I do believe he should be pushed as the Beast. there's a lot of possibilities they can do with him. We see Eli Drake is preparing for his match in Mexico. Accuses Johnny Impact of running away from home when he heard Drake was coming. Backstage, Moose speaks on his rivalry with Lashley, who recently decided he's leaving wrestling to complete solely in MMA. We saw Johnny Impact versus Texano Jr. for the Impact #1 Championship. This is his second of the night. Impact connects with a Hurricane Runner, followed by a numerous swing of Neckbreaker. It was actually a quite good match. It was a lot of to and fro. I actually wanted to see more of Texano, but Impact managed to get the win in the end. We saw Laura Van Ness is back to her old ways as she was looking for a man in the audience. This time she wasn't in a dress. She was in a black outfit, so at least we know the dress hasn't made a comeback. But she did have the crazy makeup out on. We saw Sienna, Terrell, Tanya approach Gail Kim in the office. Sienna proposes a 6-woman tag match at Victory Road next week. Karen loves the idea and makes it official. Eli Drake is taking on Bronze in AAA. Now, I was a bit sceptical about them showing footage at AAA. I didn't realise that they were going to actually show the Impact stars at different events, which I thought was quite cool. You're building up on that global, which is, how's that going to work after they're going back to the Impact name? So we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, it was a good to and fro match, but you could see that Eli Drake was going to win this because the other guy being quite small. But overall, it was a good Impact. It was a solid. There was good matches. The storylines were perfect. I can't pick any faults with it. I have said I believe Impact is improving, and I still believe it is. This is why I'm confused. And the reason I say I'm confused is, why are they changing anything? Because for me, everything was perfect. The storytelling's perfect. In ring, it's perfect. Honestly, I don't like the look. I don't like the green ropes. That's my opinion on it. But the action and the matches been perfect. I am gutted they're going to Canada and Jim Cornette's not going to be helping out anymore. But he did say he was only helping out. It was a gentleman's handshake. There was no contract. He wasn't meant to be there long term. It's a short term thing. But it's a shame, in my opinion. I think, they could have kept him around longer and he could have really helped. But then again, the in-ring action and everything else, the stories were perfect. This is why I can't understand why they're cutting back on stories and more action. I don't get why they need to. I think, like I've said this before, mainly the ratings are not improving a lot because, again, it's brand awareness and they need more advertising. They need to be advertised everywhere and they need to be on a bigger channel than Pop. They do that, they're going to start getting better numbers, in my opinion. But that's been everything for the GFW Impact review. Next week, Charlie should be back. And we could do more of an in-depth review on Impact and also give our thoughts on Impact and going forward and everything else. So, thanks for joining me for this show. I've been your host, Ashley Friend. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you again for the next one.